Hey guys, I know we're out of school and we are enjoying this time off, but don't forget to be safe and do your Algebra 1 homework. Hey guys, and welcome back with another video with Miss Kent. And today our lesson will be on inverse variation. Go ahead and flip your journals to inverse variation. So an inverse variation is a relationship in which there's a constant product between x and y in all ordered pairs. So when looking at the equation for inverse variation, it's the opposite of direct. So it's y equals k over x. So our first problem, they want us to find the constant. In order to do that, again, we're going to multiply x times y. When you multiply x times y in each ordered pair and they are equal, then you are said to have an inverse variation. So 1 times 20 is 20, which is equal to 2 times 10, which is equal to 4 times 5. So our inverse variation will be 20, and we can rewrite our equation as 20 over x. Number 2 is done the same way. Again, we're trying to find the constant by multiplying your x and your y. So when you multiply the x and y, we get negative 28, which is equal to 2 times negative 14, which is negative 28, and 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. So therefore, the constant is negative 28, and our equation is negative 28 over x. All right, don't get confused if they give us a table, because we're going to do the same thing by multiplying the x and the y. And when you multiply negative 5 times 2.4, we're going to get a constant of negative 12. And as we multiply negative 3 times 4, negative 2 times 6, and negative 1 times 12, they will all equal negative 12, which makes our constant negative 12, and our equation negative 12 over x. Now turn off the video and go ahead and try number 4. So next they want us to graph an inverse variation. If the constant of the inverse variation is 16, so if we say that the constant is equal to 16, we want to look at all the numbers that we can multiply to equal 16. So let's start with a table. The first one would be 1. 1 times 16 would give you 16. And then if we multiply 2 by 8, we would get 16. Of course, 4 by 4, we would get 16. And then we can start flipping the numbers and we can get 8 times 2 and 16 times 1. Okay, so let's take a look at multiplying negative times a negative. So a negative 1 times a negative 16 will give us 16. A negative 2 times negative 8 will give us 16. And if we continue with negative 4 times negative 4, negative 8 times negative 2, negative 16 times negative 1. So go ahead and stop the video and plot your points, and then come back and check with me to see if you have plotted them correctly. So let's go ahead and flip over to Desmos. And what we want to do is we want to look at the equation y equals 16 over x. So as we go to Desmos and we type in our equation, y equals 16 divided by x, you can see that we get an inverse variation graph. And we also can pull in a table and we can place the numbers onto the graph. So if we look at 1 and 16, okay, and so then we can also label the points. That's 2 and 8. 1 and 16 is there. Okay, so then we can also place in our points to help us match the graph. 2 and 8. We can also put in 4 and 4. Again, this can be used If you need help plotting your points and you want to check against the table. And as you can see, it's plotting the points across the line. You can click on each point to see where it's located. And we can also flip the numbers. And then we can start adding the negative times negative. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to text or inbox me. Also, if you want to email me at plkent1989@gmail.com, feel free to answer any questions you may have about indirect variation. All right, guys, we have a few practice problems that we can look at. Looking at the constant is 24. And so we want to set up our t-table just like we did in number 4. And we want to look at the factors that we can multiply to equal to 24. It's similar to doing your factors trees that you've done in the past. So we can use 1 can go into 24, 2, 3, 4. We can't divide 5 evenly, so we go to 6. We can't divide 7, so we try 8. And then we go to 12 and 24. Now you fill in the Y or go to Desmos and type in the equation Y equals 24 over X, and Desmos will help you with those numbers as well. All right, and then we can do the negative numbers. And again, you want to pause the video, go over to Desmos, and you want to start typing those numbers in. So how we do that again is we go to Desmos. We type in our equation, Y equals 24 divided by X. We hit the gear, pull in the table, and we start with our first number 1. And the table will automatically change for you. So you can put in 2, 3, 4. And let's look at what happens when we plug in a 5. It gives us a decimal. Can you plot a decimal? Of course you can. But why not keep it simple? So we go with 6. 7 gives us a decimal, so we can take it out. 8. So this is called trial and error. So we can just continuously put in our numbers until we get up to 24. Looks like that might be all the numbers the table will let us put in. So as you plot the numbers, you can always go back to the top and you can fill them in, and it will calculate the rest of them for you. Even if you have to write them down and then go back and plug those in. So as you can see, I'm just repeating the numbers that will be on my table, even though Desmos may or may not let you. Yes, it will. Just a glitch. All right, there we go. So you can plug in as many as you need to. All right, again, we can tap on them to find out where they're located, and that can help you with plotting your points as well. All right, guys, pause the video, and you can also do number 6 on your own. All right, guys, we're going to look at finding the missing value for inverse variation. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the equation, which is xy is equal to xy. So when we set that up, it's just simple. We multiply 12 times 14 is equal to negative 24y. We can multiply 12 times 14, which brings this to a one-step equation. Divide by negative 24. And once we divide by negative 24 by both sides, we find out our y is negative 7. All right, let's look at the next one. We have 6 times negative 10, which is equal to 3y, still using our xy equals xy. All right, and so when we do that, we get negative 60 equals 3y. And when you divide by 3, y is negative 20. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try 9 and 10 on your own. Okay? After you've had a chance to try 9 and 10, Let's look up the next ones. These you just want to set up your ordered pairs so we can look at the first set of ordered pairs. If y equals 9 when x is -6, so we have -6 and 9. And then we have an x missing and we have a y. So once you set up your ordered pairs, you can follow the same steps that you followed in the previous problems, which is multiplying your x times your y. But this time the missing value is x. So if you plug in an x, then you will be able to solve it. But let's see if Desmos could help us solve these problems. So let's go over to Desmos. And we want to set up the one we were just doing, which was number 11. So we have 9 times -6 equals 3x. Our answer, you might have to zoom in, will be wherever it crosses the x-axis, okay? So the being that it crosses the x-axis at 18, x will be, -18, and x is -18. So let's take a look at another one, or one that we've already done. So we want to go back to Desmos. We want to type in number 1. So what we're looking at is 12 times 14 equals -24y. Now the key is whatever variable that you typed in, that's where it's going to cross that axis. So as you can see, the answer is -7 as we got for number 1. So we would state that y equals -7. Okay, so it crosses the y-axis at -7. All right, so we can take a look at one more. Let's flip over to 14. So on number 14, back on Desmos, we're just going to go straight there. And we're going to set up our x and y. So it says y is -8 and x is -7. Really doesn't matter order because it's commutative property. So we're just going to type in the -8 times the -7. Again, I'm doing number 14, which is equal, the missing value is y. So we have -4y. It should cross the y-axis at -14. So we click down here and verify answer. It's a little glitch, but you can see that it's right there. So our solution is at -14. So y is equal to -14. All right, guys, any questions? Again, feel free to email me, text me, or inbox me. I look forward to your journals being updated, pictures being uploaded to Google Classroom. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to your teacher. This is Mrs. Kent, a.k.a. Algebra Dominator, signing off.